We're 100 days from the election now, less than. I have a hard time believing the Wayfair thing based on the Russia. Mostly anything dealing with Russia, I have a hard time to believe.
You fill 1,700 pages, and maybe you'll want to write more of them. I mean, everything we're talking about, you could have a page and a half.
And maybe they'd read more of them too.
Yeah.
Because the long form discussion is taking over these news segments, are taking over these spoon-fed, prepackaged media sound bites that we get every day.
Media. Yep.
Do you think anyone on the left should have been blamed for this?
The insurrection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the entire media.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Hey everyone, Dave here, episode 86 of The Weekly Show. With me as always is Ryan. Ryan, as you can tell, has a new do. He's on.
Thanks, man.
That's
I tried, I figured if I'm trying to pick up college chicks, I might as well look like a college dude.
If you like his haircut or our videos, make sure you follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Especially follow us on Rumble. Like the video if it's Facebook, YouTube, comment along. If you're watching on Rumble, give us a Rumble and comment along. Rumble is the free speech alternative to YouTube, so please follow us there. It's way better. Ryan, let's get right into it. There's a lot of things to talk about, but I did specifically tell you I wanted to start the show with something you were correct about.
That's weird. I've never been correct about anything in my life. I've been told by ex-girlfriends.
You got give me some warning before that. When you are strong, you act as if you are weak, Ryan. Am I correct in this? Is this not what you said about the Russian military?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
For old time's sake, headlines! Russia deploys a mystery munition in Ukraine. The Iskander-M short-range ballistic missiles are releasing a previously unknown decoy designed to evade air defense systems, an American official said. They had no idea they had these. They're rolling around in their shitty spray-painted tanks. I don't think so. We both said that doesn't sound right. Believe it or not, Ryan. The Russian military, led by Vladimir Putin, one of the top KGB spy agents of all time, who Donald Trump correctly said is not a dumb man. Their military is actually, they got some tricks up their sleeve.
Did you remember, like, in the previous days when they would just show pictures of people marching and they'd always zoom in on their knees so they'd be perfectly straight on the TV, and you'd just see hundreds of Russian people in Moscow at the Kremlin, just at St. Petersburg. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Previously unknown is also hilarious because the military knows literally everything. So I don't believe that one. Maybe the media didn't know what the hell it was called, but the fucking United States military knows exactly what that bullet is. Well, they may have not known it's this caliber and this dimension and it's manufactured here, but there's nothing new under the sun. And there's no new idea under the sun since the atomic weapon, basically. So let's be realistic here.
Well, it was one official who said it, and we could ask him, but...
was he Nobel Peace Prize winning?
Well, I don't know, because they didn't name him in the article, believe it or not.
Was he familiar with the matter, though?
He was familiar with the matter. We'll talk about people familiar with the matter a little bit later. Real quick, we didn't have to get super in-depth in this, but I saw this. It was on CNN Business, and I believe I sent this to you, or at least the group chat, but I just thought this was CNN Business, man. It's like they don't even know. Soaring gas prices are hurting Americans. It's time for more stimulus checks. There's no way these people don't know how inflation is caused. What we can do is just print some more money out. We gotta give some more stimulus to pay for the expensive gasoline. Holy shit.
A gallon of bread, a gallon of milk, and a loaf of bread will be $1 million. That's what's going to happen if you keep going. That's literally, it's obnoxious, but that's how it works.
That's exactly how it works.
It's not high. If we all make $1 million an hour, everything will be at least $2 million. Like it's
just how it is.
The money's all. This is what we're seeing right now because I was actually listening to something on Valuetainment. I've brought that up before here on this program. Go check it out. It's a wonderful channel. It's highly in depth about business and politics. But they were talking about how the Saudi Arabian government is maybe weighing taking the Chinese dollar, yen or whatever, for their oil currency trade, which hasn't happened.
That was actually conveniently enough right in the next thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically showing you, right, that like when you start doing these things at an economic level that's never been really done in America before, that it's going to have consequence. There's a reason we don't use the German dollar, as the world traded currency. It's part of the euro, first of all, but like there's no, you know what I mean? Like there's a reason we use the dollar, and the more money we print, the less valuable it is. And when it's less valuable, nobody wants it. They want the thing that's valuable or secure or strong, in this case with money, which is base. Everybody says money is nothing. It shows how little you actually understand how money actually is created. I don't know it.
It's created in a printer, right?
I don't necessarily know. I'm not an expert, but they have books on it. But the people that do know understand. They're called economists. You can't just print fucking money. It just never has worked. They've always tried this. This isn't the first. Nothing new under the sun. This isn't the first time they've tried just printing money to fix things. It always never works. Hyperinflation is very real. Jack Dorsey said it a year ago. So
we literally talked about this many times before also.
Yeah, we're seeing inflation rates to near 8%. My boss, when it was 5%, said it's double that. And I've told that on this program, and we've seen that literally in that time. I've also seen that meme going around. People are passing around about how your heating bills went up in February when Joe Biden and the Russians drama was, I'm sorry, your gas bills went up in January, but everything was invaded in February, and they're blaming Putin, so.
Well, those oil and gas companies must have saw it coming ahead of time, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I know you. I didn't mean to hijack it with the Saudis trading in.
It's the same thing we want to talk about. So.
Yeah, the Saudis trading in oil is crazy. Like just the idea of it. Like Russia was talking about having the Chinese yen as well for their dollar, and to go even further, excuse me, go even further. Russia wants Alaska back.
I saw that in part of California, which, I mean, we could compromise, give them all of California, and just call it a day.
Here's the thing. This is obviously obnoxious for a reason. This actually proves to me like how crazy geopolitics actually is when we have other countries ask. Remember when Trump said they're going to sell Greenland to me and everybody was flipping the hell out? You know what I mean? Like how crazy, how dare he? And now it's like, well, under war, Putin's just asking for Alaska back. Yeah, it's obnoxious for a reason,
Yeah, but Greenland would have done it mutually. I mean, why wouldn't you if you're Greenland?
Yeah, they should just join Russia now or China,
Hey, you might as well. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, as far as geopolitically goes, I mean, that would be a major, major issue. I mean, it just would. It would change everything. It would flip everything upside down. People might underestimate how big of a deal that is. It's a big deal.
Well, right now, they're trading in the United States dollar. Look at our gas now. Like it's if they don't use our dollar, it's only going to get worse. I don't know, but let's not fuck around with it. Like really, our grandparents gave us this shit one way or another. Whether everybody wants to say the baby boomers hand grenaded the economy or not, I don't care. They gave us.
It seemed pretty good for them.
They had everything was fine. The world's built back up, reconstruction and all again.
Yeah.
The fucking
maybe
international
baby boomers' fault. Maybe it's I don't know. Oversized government.
Yeah, it's really, I realize, especially with the money and everything, the only thing that has ever stopped like you getting where you want to go in your life is government money getting taken out of your paycheck. Like having roads, having any kind of government. It's just literally just been theft of us for so long. And, we'll never go back to that. But I mean, really, you see what they did with the businesses. We're seeing what they're doing with money. We were told this whole time that everything's fine.
No, it's fine.
And I gotta hear everybody complain about how expensive it is. Dude, did you watch last year's election? I'm just asking. Like during the elections, 2 years ago, rather, because fuck, I lost a year. Goddamn COVID.
I know it's been a while.
Go to 2020. Did you watch it 2019? You know? Did you? Did you understand? Everything's expensive now. You're fine with $2.30 gas watching Kim Kardashian. Now that it's $7, everybody's expert.
Ryan, before we get into more serious topics, more serious than the one I'm going to get into next, we've talked about this kind of stuff on the program. I know Jeremy is ultra fired up about this, actually more so than I am, but the Penn swimmer Lia Thomas became the first trans athlete to win a Division I national title for swimming. That dude's got some broad shoulders. I don't know what they feel like, but whatever they feel like, if you feel like a woman, you still feel like you have manly shoulders blasting through the water. That son of a bitch. That son of a bitch can swim.
David, we all know the only reason that guy beat women is because he has more strength because of testosterone through his whole life.
That sounds like, I don't know.
For people who want to say, not that I give a fuck anymore, considering YouTube is a scumbag platform that we use willingly. They push us down just hearing these words. It's ridiculous. But if you take somebody the same height and the same weight, a male and a woman, the same age, the same relative background, the same ethnicity, the same body fat percentage, the guy will always be able to do everything stronger than the woman when it comes to weightlifting and physical activity. Even if they're both overweight, that fat overweight guy is probably stronger than the fat overweight woman. And that even goes with the chicks you see at the gym on TRT. The dudes that are on TRT are way fucking stronger. Legs, everything. Doesn't matter how big their butt is. Doesn't matter how small their chest is. Doesn't matter how broad a woman's shoulders are. A dude with less broad shoulders can outbench her. It's just the way it works. It's just like when an eagle eats a fish. It's called biology.
I think the easiest way to describe it, Ron, Jeremy has discovered...
These people need their own sports area. This is now apparent more than ever. I don't know if this has been talked about, but they need put them with the Special Olympics. If they got a freaking, I'm in a different body, put them in with the Special Olympics then. Okay. Oh, that's not okay, but they can beat up a female?
They really well. Ryan, they're standing...
They beat the shit out of... Let them beat up the disabled. Come on. They beat up girls.
To put it in ways Jeremy would understand, because Jeremy has recently become in love with his iPhone. Even though similar Androids have way more computing power, the software of the iPhone just makes it faster. It's just it. It just does. Even if these women are technically whatever, the testosterone is the software. It's just overcompensating for sure. You can't compete with it.
I just don't know how. I just trust the science. Now that it's political, I am now a fucking scientist. I've also come up to that because anything I say could be taken political, and it's not going to be trusted anyway. So I might as well just be a political science at this point, like a science and a politician. Because I don't know how we think that testosterone doesn't make that guy better in every way when it comes to physical activity, and then they're going to put it and give him a freaking medal for it.
Well, what does the science say, Ryan? I mean, we listen to the science with everything else.
The science says the guy's going to be better. Every time. We've known this for literally thousands of years. Like at least on paper, thousands of years. Probably like millions of years when you just like look at people. Trust the science. All right, I'll trust evolution here. These people know exactly what they're...
It's just a fact. I mean, it just is. It's not toxic masculinity or mansplaining or whatever made up term you had. It's just literal science and biology. It just is.
This reminds me of when I actually sent you a picture of this today, David. I was doing a little shopping with my brother today because he doesn't know anything about females, right? So I was like, all right, let's go to the store. What does she want? Blah, 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 all that. We ended up going to the mall and going to Sephora, which is a very, fancy makeup place. Mm-hmm. It's pretty expensive, but they got nice chick stuff going there, and there's hot chicks there. So I'm there. And sure as shit, it's almost on the first aisle thing you walk in, there's a picture of a man talking about changing beauty standards. Like literally a guy with makeup on. Now listen, I understand that movie stars and pictures and advertisement campaigns and everything we see is altered. Filters, I understand that. People's hair aren't naturally like that. They put things in there. They don't. Fine. I understand men in movies, all that. But the average man should not be wearing makeup. We are men. Women wear makeup. I don't care what culture ever wore makeup before us. It doesn't matter. We don't wear makeup. We are guys. We have to worry about other things than our face. I mean, take care of your skin. Drink water. But like makeup? We're talking makeup. Girls wear makeup, do they not, David?
Well, Lia Thomas probably doesn't, but she's a man, so to your point.
This is what they have to do in order to take over society. They have to demonize anything that's strong. And the strongest thing in society are its men. Because life, whether women want to admit it or not, comes from men. We give it, literally the biology is, you need a sperm, but you need to fertilize it in an egg. It's not an egg comes into a sperm. It's the other way around, okay? Life starts and begins with men. 30 men could repopulate the entire earth, okay? Just 30 different men, and it would have a genetic variety to have enough that we could keep going for the rest of humanity. That's not a lot of dudes, okay? Life starts with men. It's grown in women. And the way they have to take our society down is destroying men. And this is one of their avenues. When we start blending gender roles together and all these things, this is all, it's not social construct. Jordan Peterson talks about it, evolutionary biology and psychology and all these other things. It's amazing to me that I came up with this week. It's like we've gotten so good at defining things, it's so easy to hide behind labels. Because we have definitions for everything. We can just like be like, no, I have anxiety. It's like, no, you just aren't used to being outside around people.
Well, there's that, and then even worse than that is the fact that they constantly change the definitions. So not only do we create them, then we switch them around. Ooh.
And Dave, that's a good point, because that's exactly when Trust the Science, Trust the Science during COVID was actually started during the transgender movement in this country, because that's when people started battling political opinions with science. That was it. Remember, boys and girls rooms, bathrooms, all that was super controversial. Where are we now? That we can't even talk science about viruses because it's, quote, political. You can't be, quote, objective. You can't untangle them, as the news says.
Well, I love that. I mean, I guess we'll just call it like it is, how we were correct about COVID, literally, because, again, other viruses, we were correct about COVID the whole time, but we were told, no, you can't have that opinion. We're kicking you off Facebook, we're kicking you off this, we're kicking you off this. And now 2 years later, after 2 weeks to flatten the curve, we find, maybe they were right. Duh. Of course we were right. This isn't anything new.
And I still see people wearing masks, which is ludicrous to say. Now, it's not that I don't think you should trust. Fine. I'm not like judging you, but it's just like, just admit you were fucking wrong. I mean, it'd be a lot easier. Just tell me you got conned by politicians. Just say it. It's fine. Say you voted for the frail old guy that's in office that has ruined the entire world. Say you got conned by them. Fine. Don't let it happen again. Don't ever let it happen again. This is detrimental. The United States dollar, the money, the masculinity crisis. We don't have I have a buddy of mine right now told me he spent a fabulous evening with a young lady. And she was impressed by just some of the furniture he had in his house, like a bed frame.
A bed frame?
A bed frame. Apparently that's...
When you're a young single dude, you just put that shit right on the floor.
The question is do you have, but do you have a standard for yourself as a guy? That's what I mean. Like, we're raising boys, right? And you want to go be a man to girls, but you're not a man. This is full circle politically. You're dumb when you vote. You're dumb when you buy things. You're dumb when you do stuff. Like,
to all the people who potentially were tricked by the senile old man and Dr. Fauci, watch the show. We'll teach you how to not be tricked the next time. Mondays at 7. Speaking of people who were tricked let's give them the benefit of the doubt, Ryan. Maybe they were tricked. And all of this last 2 years,
The Matrix.
could have been avoided, but unfortunately, the New York Times was tricked, Ryan.
$6 a year, David? How? And they have what's the New York Times budget?
I'd like to point out we'll get into the article a little bit, but just to refresh everyone's memory in case you forgot, right before the election, New York Post says, whoa, bombshell, Hunter Biden on a weird cracked out state of mind drops this fucking work laptop off in Delaware and forgets it's there. A computer tech contacts the police, right? Turns it in. There's all types of information that gets sent to Congress. We have people in Congress saying, holy shit, you won't believe what's on this. The New York Post reports on it. New York Times says, that's bullshit. Twitter says, sounds like bullshit to me. Pulls it off. It's off
Misinformation.
Misinformation. It's off of all social media. 1 in 6 Biden voters said they would not vote for Biden if they knew the story was true or even heard the story.
1 in 6, not 80 million people?
1 in 6, Ryan. 1 out of 6 apples, as you would put it.
So many people, dude.
Would not vote for Biden if they heard this story. That's, 18? It's nearly 20%, right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. 1 in 6 is an odd measurement. Why don't we just make it even? 1 in 6.
Post writes an article throwing large amounts of shade at New York Times, and it's hilarious. It starts off this way. Now that Joe Biden's president, the Times finally admits Hunter's laptop is real.
Halfway through his presidency.
Because this is what the Times writes, and I love this because
it's 2022. He got elected 2 years ago. We're just being told we're corrected.
It was just 2 weeks ago, right?
1 in 6 voters. What?
So this is the Times writing this.
This is not misinformation anymore.
I love this because this is how we went from this to these people know what they're doing, but this was the original phrase. People familiar with the investigation said prosecutors had examined emails between Mr. Biden, Mr. Archer, and others about Burisma and other foreign business activity, the Times writes. Those emails were obtained by the New York Times from a cache of files that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden in a Delaware repair shop. The email and others in the cache were authenticated by people familiar with them and with the investigation. They just learned this now, apparently. In October 2020, the Times cast doubt that there was a meeting between Joe Biden and an official from Burisma, the Ukrainian gas company. It's amazing how all this ties together. For which Hunter was a board member. A Biden campaign spokesman said Mr. Biden's official schedules did not show a meeting between the two men. So, New York Times, this was the investigation they did.
This is from the New York Times? Like, yes. All that is from the New York Times?
Yes.
Didn't Donald Trump say all that?
Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. So the New York Times, this was how they tried to verify the article about the Bidens. They asked a Biden campaign spokesperson, and he said, I don't know, the schedule doesn't show it. And the New York Times went, good enough for us. That's investigation done. Fake news, misinformation, get it off the internet. That's how they did it. They asked the Bidens about illegal activities. And they said, no, we're not doing anything illegal. Oh, well, good enough. It goes on.
That was all the crack and cream cheese, right? Or the crack and Parmesan cheese.
That was a serious Parmesan cheese episode right there.
Dude, this is crazy. Crazy.
It goes on a little bit further. In the heat of the presidential race of 2020, the Times never missed a chance to cast doubt on the laptop, saying the information was purported and quoting a letter from a former Democratic official who claimed with no evidence that it was Russian disinformation. As recently as September 2021, the Times called the laptop unsubstantiated in a news story. Ryan, many things about this. One, this is why people should not have their whole livelihood taken off of the internet because of misinformation because the people in charge of all this, first of all, what you said in meeting with a hearing in Congress, Facebook said, well, it's just opinion based. And now we have the Times telling, Twitter, oh, this is a bullshit article. We asked the Bidens, they said it didn't happen. And Twitter said, all right, well, get them off the internet. 2 weeks before the election, 1 in 6 Biden voters wouldn't have voted for Biden. It's 2 years too late. What happens to the New York Times?
I thought democracy doesn't die in the dark.
Well, it did. It did.
Was that the problem with his laptop? It just had a black screen.
Son of a bitch won't turn on. Did you try charging it? No, I gotta go. I got other shit to do. Can you just I'll be back for it.
It gets out of a 04 RAV4 with 3 tires. Like, what is going on, dude?
What the fuck is this crackhead?
4-wheel drive still works, right, man? What?
If you told that computer tech before he knew any better that that cracked out dude who dropped the laptop off was Joe Biden's son, he would have never believed you.
No, or he would have believed it and put that suitcase on the internet or the laptop on the internet for like billions in crypto.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which are untraceable, but they're going to find out anyways.
So other than all of that, the misinformation aspect of it and the big tech and media aspect of all of this and the fact that it swayed the election.
Does that sound collusion? Is that collusion? Isn't that media collusion? Isn't that Biden collusion with the American media? With the one time they accused the former president of doing that with the Russian media, that he was colluding with Russian propaganda machines? Isn't that the same thing as Biden colluding with big tech when they're not actually paying them to actually tote the White House lines with the Ukraine scandal, for example, the Ukraine war scandal.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
it's very weird
to us.
It literally all buttons up into a bow, and then I'm told it's not a conspiracy.
It buttons up even further too, because there's some really familiar names in this article, like Biden's, where the president, Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine. And isn't it weird that the entire world swooped to save Ukraine? Because, I don't know, one of the nations in NATO had a president whose son was on a board for a Ukrainian gas company? I mean, are people putting these things together? I think that's an aspect that was probably missed in this whole article, honestly. I mean, obviously, the obvious, which is the misinformation, the big tech, the big media swaying elections, 1 in 6 voters. But the unobvious is, I don't know, this is starting to paint a picture looking back at it. It's kind of weird that everybody swooped in to save Ukraine, and all of a sudden Ukraine's a European country without...
Dude, Hunter Biden was not the only son of politicians that sat on that board. Or daughters, or somebody. Dude, there ain't no way. Biden's not the only guy with kids. What do we hear about Trump and his family? The legacy of Trump, the Bush legacy, the Clintons. We always hear about these names, the Bushes. Come on. They all got people on that board. I bet you fucking money they got people.
Could you look up who else is on that board?
Dude, why not? They said Bilderberg wasn't a real thing for 50 years, and now they just put the attendance list online. Yeah, probably. Nah, this ain't real. You're talking about artificial intelligence taking over organic beings. Nah, this ain't real. Transhumanism, not real. Ray Kurzweil being our, pinnacle guy that we want, not real.
I'm just curious if
a fucking statue getting eaten by a robot. I'm told everything's fine. These people don't believe in symbolism or nothing. They're not freaking occult level thinking. But rich people are evil because they're corrupt and control freaks. It's just none of their stuff makes sense. They double dip everything because they're skating under the radar. They know what they're doing. But it is well orchestrated. And Dave, that is a phenomenal breakdown, though, of like really it's so cool because this is like what we mean by a lying by omission, right? Because big tech would rather take smokescreen for literally censoring information and thieving the election from the American people. Facebook stole the election in 2020. Fuck you. YouTube as well. Fuck you guys. Google as well. Fuck you guys. You stole the election from the American people. It was not a free and open and honest election like we had or what we say we have. That's not what happened. And they would rather sink the ship and lose money on that than it coming out about the Hunter Biden connection and about how these elite families work together. Because I assure you, if you look up this list, there's going to be a lot of different acronyms and countries and nationalities. There's going to be a lot of Republicans and Democrats and There's going to be all these little D's and R's and all these other symbols from other countries. You'll be like, oh, I thought you guys hated each other. I thought you guys all hated each other. And then we get the magnifying glass, and we'd be able to see that they're actually all just the big elitists. They're something that has been a conspiracy that was, at least for 15 years I've been awake, it was always a conspiracy, and now I literally can see it in real time. We can see it in real time and track it after. Well, when they stole the election.
And we said a long time ago, we actually had a post on our Facebook. We've been saying it for a while, but we said a while ago that everyone needs to be careful when we get into these battles, and we do it here too. Obviously, everyone does it where the left versus the right and everything. But at the end of the day, if you're a normal everyday person, it's not left versus right; it's the elites versus you. These people are all in this neat little group. They're sitting on boards. They're causing wars. They're taking down information. They're changing elections. They're changing the outcomes of elections. And they just do all this
well, dude, think of COVID too. We always hear about corrupt corporations and everything else, and the only businesses that got the shutdown were mom and pops. And then you say it's capitalism's fault. Like that's not accident. That's like literally PTSD. That's gaslighting. That's mass Stockholm syndrome on the whole American people. And then you want to uproot our system. Right, destroy masculinity, destroy the family, nuclear family, the building blocks of civilization for millions of years, literally, longer than every country ever. Everything was built by the nuclear family, and you do everything to dismantle it, and then we're told the people that defend it on the right, for example, David, like we do get caught up because at some point, like we only have that because we have to have a conversation. We have to be able to have a method to measure it, to just tell somebody like, look, the nuclear family is the greatest thing ever. But not everybody's going to say that. We have to say, well, look at statistics and like, look, we can measure it here. Like we try to like argue why the shit that works still works. That's so ridiculous. But honestly, the thing is we're modern humans. The smartphone changed everything. We can never be compared to anybody else that ever lived ever again, before or after, because how it changed us. And that's where we're at.
Well, it's very different. And to your point about technology changing everything too, this New York Times, the New York Post article, the original article, getting scrubbed from social media and everything, that would have never happened even 15 years ago. I mean, like, how long ago do you have to go back? Not very long. I mean, how are you gonna when people are reading actual newspapers, you know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna scrub that information? They've already read it, they've consumed it, they know it's true. I mean, you can have a countering opinion. You could have the New York Post, and the same person reads the New York Post article and then reads the New York Times article, and the New York Times says, well, maybe the responsible thing to do would be like, maybe we can't really confirm this. New York Post is putting the information out. We're looking further into it. Fine. But that's not what happened. The New York Post article gets scrubbed entirely. No one sees that side of the argument. All you see is New York Times saying Russian disinformation, Facebook saying misinformation. That doesn't happen 15 years ago. So this is a new world that we have to navigate in, but they know that. That's why they have this misinformation tag.
Yeah, and we don't have civil liberties on the internet, really, right? It's not express, falls under free speech. Well, is it free speech if the corporation that owns my stuff, because it's a free and open platform that I can post anything, but they technically own it? John has the ad blocker on his phone, but he literally has millions of ad things and millions of things trying to steal his information and sell it all. How is that freedom? That seems like exploitation. That seems like data raping. Remember ripping CDs, right? Ripping them, that's data ripping from me. And then you're going to build society with all the data that you steal from me and say it's not important. And they say it's not important because they don't want you to value it so that I can't try to sell it to you, right? And selling it to you is consuming something with your money, right? I sell you when I buy from a website, or I buy, like, I'm willingly giving you money, right? That's the exchange. But now we don't have that. We don't see the exchange of our value of data. We don't see that like a dollar. We don't see that. So we don't think there's any value there. Back again, devaluing money. Money's worthless. We just all use it like Monopoly. Not really. Dumbass. That's not cool. That's really not cool. If you speak like that, you shouldn't vote or drive a car even. Because gas is worthless. Gas is just gas, but it makes fucking solid things move. Like, for real. Sorry, I went off a little tangent there, but no, it's it's corporate rights. That's the loophole they're using. You know, like I said, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. People have talked about this forever. Like, but yeah, this wouldn't happen that long ago. Back to your thing with the print, like a newspaper, man. That's why you think they're trying to get rid of trees. They can literally wipe history off the face of the map because there's no physical embodiments of it. Because the digital stuff will just get pushed down in the algorithm. You can imagine sifting through history when there's trillions of Google searches. You will never know history. But what if you only have 500 pieces of paper? The 500 pieces of paper that lasted 500 years. That's history. There's a reason those 500 pieces of paper made it. The stories are going to be put together like the Bible, for example, but the same story is in there. That's why they last. We've lost that, and once again, the modern era, we've lost that kind of looking back. It's why we're in trouble with the how to handle this and like how to process these new rights, this new freedom.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. The other part is the fact that there is this collusion going on, not only between our government and Facebook, but other governments and big tech and our government and other governments, and there's too much intertwined into everything.
Remember, Washington's farewell address, he says entangling alliances, right? It's like the easiest way to say it. 300 years old, still true. It's actually more true. It's the most true.
Those people also knew what they were doing.
Wonder why.
They're like, yeah, we should probably keep this thing small and maybe not get involved in foreign affairs. And then a couple hundred years later, we're like, let's do the opposite of that and see what happens. Oh, shit.
Man, if we only could print more money.
Man,
a central bank will be enslavement to the nation. Man, we should really print more money. I got a pen and a phone. Not tyrannical at all. Imagine signing legislation as you're writing it on the phone. What do you think? I'm on the second line.
I mean, they're not too far from that now. I mean, they might as well. I'm surprised there hasn't been an initiative to save paper. Like, we won't print these out. We'll just email them to you, and you can just electronically sign it on your phone.
Face scan ID for a fucking bill.
We talked about that back to 2 years ago when this New York Post article originally aired, and we talked about how because of COVID and everything that they could eventually be maybe voting by phone. I wouldn't be surprised. I still wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you.
It's crazy.
It's a matter of time.
Why do you need to be in D.C. when I can just do it remotely? Because it's the people's house. It's the idea behind the symbolic nature of you all sitting together. We lost symbolism because they can paint it on a phone screen for me, and I'm told it's depth, it's art, it's beauty when it's not. I actually told somebody that this week, that the reason you see such shitty art nowadays is because they have to make you confused on what real art is, so that when you see real art, you're not inspired, because it's just the conditioning. It's just mass conditioning. Like the Mona Lisa is the most valuable painting because it's the Mona Lisa. But that captivation, that real art quality, they dilute it with fake bullshit art. And it makes you not appreciate the Mona Lisa for how beautiful it is and how revolutionary and everything else. It's also hard to always have new art when you can see everything all the time now. But whatever.
Well, we got quality NFTs now.
Yeah, those are the same thing as a screenshot, right?
I mean, basically.
Right? Really? No?
Yeah.
What about global warming? Facebook to announce they're making their NFTs, but he's banning information about global warming. This guy's going to get filthy rich and then just censor all the shit that's talking bad about what he's really doing. Those corrupt corporations. Mark Zuckerberg, philanthropist. He gave away all of his money. Oh, that was great. He just lived on trillions of dollars of other people's and then gave it away. Sorry.
One day, Ryan's going to actually want to try VR on Meta, and there's going to be a virtual bouncer that throws him out.
Yeah, I won't even be allowed in. Yeah, I will get probably physically removed. Like the glasses will just.
Yeah, like how the women were complaining they were getting sexually assaulted on Meta.
I actually got a better idea. My Oculus will self-destruct and it will kill me. And then they'll be like, oh, this is really a tragedy. This has never happened before.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It must have been a software issue.
People familiar with the matter said that the battery was unlikely to explode, even though it did.
That's what I got, Ryan. But I saw the New York Times thing, and I thought, why? I'm almost curious why they admit it now. I mean, why bother?
Well, no one cares, right? But they can't lie.
I mean, at this point,
they also got a crash control. I don't know. See, this is what I'm saying, right? Because the thing they're going to focus on is the misinformation, when really we should be focusing on Hunter Biden and stealing the election, and like big tech is going to. Dude, they have trillions. They don't care. They don't need money if they can control all the fucking information. That's better than money. They don't care. They will sink everything. They will go bankrupt because they'll never go bankrupt. They have all the information to make sure that they never go bankrupt. They create every narrative ever and never go without followers. You follow these people, remember that. Just you keep following these people. All right. Men don't wear fucking makeup. I swear to God. I swear to God. It is not masculine. Get some damn face scrub, fellas. Drink water. Daylight savings time.
yeah.
All I keep hearing about is people complaining about having to get up early. Then I realize nobody's working. So what are we complaining about?
I could go either way on it, honestly. You could leave it or take it away. I don't give a shit. I do think it's dumb that we randomly switched the timer on. Like time doesn't change. We're just adjusting it to our own weird, like, to make us feel better. I don't know. It's stupid. Just leave it alone. Let the clock stay.
I seen somebody talking about how it actually lowers testosterone in men. So we should keep going with daylight savings time the way it is. Like if we were to get rid of it,
testosterone in men.
Yeah, men. Believe it or not, women. Men in the morning are not only are we the most horniest, but we are the most like focused, aware, ready to work early in the morning before sunrise.
Well, that's got to be from hundreds of thousands of years of biology. If I were to guess.
Yeah, because we were out hunting at that time before everybody else was awake when the women and children would wake up, so we could bring them back the food and they could cook it while we go sit around and do nothing, apparently. The point, I didn't care about daylight savings time. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I don't want to gain or lose an hour of sleep. Let's just get used to it and do the social construct idea, right? I fell into it. No, keep it. We're flipping. My T's going down. No, set the fucking clocks back. I'm on higher T. I'm done with this. It's to kill men. I'm convinced this is the society construct thing. They're trying to do it in real time with daylight savings time. I won't let you. Bring back daylight savings time forever. I want this shit to be here 2 million years from now when I don't even need fucking sunlight. Because it's a way to just take things from me. I'm tired of it. I used to think the government was just fucking with my hour. Now I know that they're really fucking with my hours. These people, they know what they're doing. Congress passing something unanimously should be telling you that this is probably not a good thing. And I also thought about that there's probably some bullshit in there.
Was it a one-page bill, Ryan?
Probably not. It sounds like it could be one sentence. But we passed a 37-page bill to get rid of daylight savings times for farmers. Apparently it was only for farmers. But I got all this shit in this bill. Keep going. Unanimously? Dude, the only time they vote unanimously is to steal from me. They're stealing something, and they're literally stealing daylight and my testosterone. Fuck you. Bring back daylight savings time. I am not giving up. I'm just going to always daylight savings time, even when they steal it from me. All right. And not that I'm done being obnoxious, but seriously, these people are crazy. Saudi's using oil. Russia wants Alaska back. Yeah, give it to them.
They're mad. California. I like Alaska. That's cool.
I was asking about I have a note here that says why Ukraine still question mark, and then I realized they got to distract with the war from Ukraine to not distract from all the billions of dollars they're siphoning off the country into private families.
Why Ukraine, Ryan? I think we answered that question. A certain person's crackhead son is why Ukraine. I'm convinced. You can't tell me differently.
Dude, that's why we're going to war.
Are you telling me this was a coincidence? A total coincidence that the crackhead son of President Joe Biden was caught in these dealings, these illegal dealings, and this board member with Ukraine, and he dropped his fucking laptop off in his crackhead rage. My friend scrubbed the article so Biden would win, and then oh my god, I can't believe Russia attacked Ukraine. Everybody defend Ukraine. This is weird. Send them billions of dollars. That's weird. Why are we selling them billions of dollars? Oh, because of Russia, you attacked them. Is that why? Or are we paying off some debts from when they hired somebody?
Unanimously join them with NATO.
Yeah. 1 point. Oh, we gotta send this money over to Ukraine. My son was on their board. Fuck off. I don't buy this shit at all. Nobody gives a shit about Ukraine. Dude, it was totally out of the blue. Oh, God bless Ukraine.
Wasn't it like $1 billion or something crazy?
It was absurd amounts of money, yeah.
I'm sure it's not going to make gas more expensive.
Well, I mean, they
giving shit away.
They gave the big guy a favor. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
They leave weapons for terrorist organizations, but I have to send my firearms over there for Ukrainians. Wall Street Journal polls 50% of the United States doubt Biden will run in 2024.
50%? Like half?
Of the people polled.
Like
and I'm
5 out of 10 apples?
Yeah, I'm betting that they polled mostly Democrats. So that might be like 80%. I did that on every gas pump in my local community. So,
well, is he not going to run because he's going to die of old age? Or is because he's going to have extra severe dementia? Or is it...
self-assassinate?
Or is it going to be because him and Harris have a disagreement and he just leaves?
I'm stout. Most powerful guy in the world willing. Hey, here you go. Wonder why Russia's asking for Alaska back all of a sudden.
Oh, I disagreed with one of my freaking employees. I guess I'll just quit.
Dude, when did we buy Alaska for them to be asking for it back just now? Just magically. It's been a long time.
What do they want out of Alaska? Does Sarah Palin still live there? Does Putin like Palin?
Send her over there so he could do his thing with her.
Putin, you dirty dog. Palin's married.
Yo, I seen a video of him getting snubbed for handshakes, Putin.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's every world leader that ever snubbed him in a handshake. Now, granted, there's probably videos of him getting hands shaken with all these same people or a lot of extra people. But it was just so funny because the guy made it look like he was just sad after.
And he really wasn't.
He just wanted to be loved. He just wanted a handshake with love, man,
You know what my favorite, this is not really related, but kind of, one of my favorite Trump moments is when he just totally cut the queen off and walked in front of her. Excuse me, me first. We're more powerful than you.
I have more money.
I beat COVID faster than you.
Can you imagine the balls it takes to cut off a fucking queen?
Excuse me, you're inbred. I'm going first. Get your flippers out of the way.
Guy just walks in front of her. Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it. You're the queen.
You always hear about toxic masculinity. The guy's. You weren't elected. I was. More people voted for me than the Queen of England.
And Joe Biden.
Both times. Biden, Obama. Oh my God! Speaking of Biden not running in 24, which he will run, mind you, they're not going to give up that guy willingly.
Well, if Biden doesn't run, what happens? Do they run somebody else, or do they just? Harris can have it.
Dude, what's more embarrassing? Losing, running for president, or not even running the second time because you're not going to win and you're going to blame it on the guy being super old and ready to die. When he was already super old and ready to die when he was elected. But now it's an issue. It wasn't an issue 2 years ago.
I think running and losing only because if you don't run, you could just have some fake excuse like, well, I'm getting kind of old. This is tiring and whatever. I think I'm just going to call it a day.
He said that last time. Remember when his son died or his kid died or whatever?
Bo, his dying wish was that I would be president. Wish granted.
That's not narcissism at all.
Thanks a lot, Bo.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not wishing for more life right now. Oh, he just wants me to be president. Wish I could be there to see that, Dad.
Fucking Bo caused all of this. Glad you're in the ground.
I wonder why he wanted his dad to keep being president so that Bo could maybe sit on boards and smoke crack with Russian and Ukrainian prostitutes and knock them up in a fucking office in D.C.
Did Bo legitimately? I mean, I know.
God,
he had
tar pits. Are you talking about the poison tar pits?
He had whatever. Listen. Here's a conspiracy for you.
It's not his son.
Hunter was cracked out. He killed Bo so he could bang him. Just saying. Just saying. I can't confirm that story. I'm not even accusing. I'm just saying.
This was Hillary Clinton on the night Bo died.
Would you be shocked? Would you be shocked?
Hunter Biden cracked out, killed him. Because he asked him where his laptop was. Don't put your balls on my drum set, man.
Holy fuck.
All right.
We did serious stuff. Now we make jokes. We already talked about idiots at New York Times.
Dude. He really did kill his brother, though.
He was sick of the stripper. He wanted to get Bo's wife. I don't know what to tell you.
Bo knocked up the strippers, right?
Oh, maybe that's what happened. Bo knocked the stripper up first and made Hunter mad.
The pimp killed him. The Bo got the stripper pregnant, though. I'm not speaking out of school here, right?
No, I think Hunter got the stripper pregnant.
Dude. How's that guy fucking president? I can't get a job because of my dad, but this guy's... God bless America. We need it. Oh, speaking of 2024 candidates, I seen a thing that 24 Republicans are eyed for the 2024 campaign cycle.
Whoa, that's too many.
Yeah, it's way too many. Dave and I actually, that's really kind of how we started really breaking politics down, was these presidential debates. Way back to Mitt Romney. That's when Dave and I first actually started having conversations like these. Not this powerful and in-depth, obviously, but many, many years ago. I just think it's cool. I'm excited. I get very excited about this. It's like the Super Bowl a lot of ways, or Super Tuesday, right? All these things. It's literally, that shit is that in politics every time. When they have a political debate, it's Sunday Night Football. It's the same equivalent. The way we got to look at it, once again, the shit we're literally seeing was talked about in 2019. Dave and I were here breaking it down. Headlines. Do you remember? Because I do.
I do gotta say, this recent trend of like 75 people running per party is just out of control. I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to, but come on. It's too many. They got to break the debates up into like 6 separate debates with 10 people each. It's like, just relax. You're polling at 0.005%. Like, you're not, just drop out.
Yeah. I also maybe think for some of them, like when John McAfee ran, they were able to get like libertarian. It was only like the 2 or 3 of them or whatever before he just suddenly not killed himself.
There was a handful of people, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, it was 5 or 6. Like, that's a reasonable amount of people running.
Yeah, I'm not expecting like them to cater to, like, Rand Paul never really pulled well, right? He never got a lot of election time in 2016. One, because Trump was just so gravitas, you know.
Rand did okay.
Yeah, I mean, Rand. So yeah, but he hung in there, but he like really dropped out, and then it was like kind of like Ted Cruz was really like the next.
Yeah, it was like Rand, Cruz, Trump were all doing pretty good. Like, for whatever reason, Kasich hung around forever. He's like,
I just hated that guy. That guy was just he was a straight rhino.
Yeah.
Like, He was just lame. He wore makeup, fucking low.
That's how we're going to refer to just men we don't like now.
They wear makeup.
Some bitch wears makeup. Joe Biden.
You
Joe Biden wears makeup.
You cover girl. Easy breezy. Yeah, I get excited for debates. I break them down. You know, we get nerdy with them, but it's exciting because, like, once again, it's literally like it's how you're able to predict the future, like Dave does and me do. It's just blue collar politics, man. Just take the time. It only takes like 2 hours of your day that day. I know it's a lot, but then you don't gotta trust the news, man. Because when you trust the news, you lie to you, and then an 80-year-old restaurant closes down and nobody can get their first job ever. And then I gotta see robots everywhere.
Well, the exact reason you don't trust the news is exactly what happened with New York Times. That's why you don't trust the news. You gotta, like,
these people know what they're doing. That's what
you're telling me. The New York Times, full of journalists, whether you like where they line up or not, any journalist remotely worth his weight is not asking the campaign spokesperson of the guy doing the illegal activities. Like, is this guy doing illegal stuff? No. All right. I did my job. That's why you don't trust the news. Read all of it. Use common sense and logic and find where you line up.
And then have the conversation with people that do similar stuff with it. Because then you can understand it better. You can look at different points of right. That's what we always hear, right? The reason you need to follow me politically is because I understand people. You need to be more open, right? And then you get attacked. Then virtue signaling, cancel culture, all these things accelerate. I know we're at the end of the program. We're supposed to wind down, but like,
oh yeah, we didn't do Decembertainment yet.
Yeah, I mean, I got like 2 more things before I get there, but like,
there's no winding down.
But it's just like that's why you got to do it, right? Politics, history, religion. You learn about them yourself. Go to somebody who's done the same thing. Have a conversation. That's where you get the different ground, not the news. You don't go to the news for different opinions, opposite of beliefs, dude. How do you know your opposite beliefs if you don't piss that guy off at the bar by accident, apologize, and then wonder where you came from? That's opposite beliefs, man.
Well, that's a great point. Since when did journalism and the news become opinions? I mean, it should be the most factual thing ever.
Or just presented information.
Right, that's what actual journalism should be.
Yeah, well, we follow these people now, so. I mean, words, the pen's mightier than the sword, but I follow these people, but they give me facts, but the act of following them is an opinion in itself, because I have an opinion in following them, so their words are now an opinion to their followers. Follow me at December 17th, 73. The biolabs are now a conspiracy again in Ukraine, even though I've seen Tulsi Gabbard talking about all the facts during the situation and how
they're a conspiracy again? Because they were a conspiracy, and then everybody admitted it was fact.
Well, not everybody admitted it, but I'll equate to last week's. The WHO issued a warning stating that the Ukraine should get their bioweapons lab fucking figured out before Russia just plows through and blitzkriegs their whole country.
Even leftist news admitted it was fact.
And then Tulsi Gabbard said something.
Yep, and then oh, that's right, and then they went back to now Tulsi Gabbard is treasonous. People on The View were saying this too. People on The View and in the news. So they admitted it was fact, and then she said it, and then they said it wasn't fact, and that she's treasonous. She's colluding with Russia.
Only reasonable woman from Hawaii.
Why is only that treasonous? How about colluding with other countries? Is that treasonous? Like having your child on a board?
Can we just send billions of dollars in aid?
That we are just suddenly sending billions of dollars to? That's weird.
Could start World War III. My dad brought up something to me about apparently there's something in the NATO contract that between Russia and NATO there needs to be one non-NATO associated country, which would be Ukraine. Now, I have not fact-checked this. I thought it was a pretty powerful thought, and I wouldn't put past the Ruskies to have a barrier of invasion.
So they're going to be in NATO, and
Ukraine is not a European country. I'm so tired of people telling me what my nationalities are. This is fucking dumb. How are Slavics and Germania part of the Anglo-Saxon sphere of Europe? I mean, I know they all come in and they wash through and all the mixing with Rome. It's just great. They weren't part of Europe, man.
Did Ukraine have like a? Did they have like a Brexit or something?
Dude, you gotta look. My sister, when she tried doing my family ancestry, my great great grandmother came from Austria-Hungary at the time. She spoke Ukrainian. If you go there where she grew up, it's now part of the Netherlands, but it was part of Ukraine after she left. After World War I, it was part of Prussia. Like, you have to literally go through like the past 100 years of maps, like every 20 years, every 10 years sometimes, to see the difference in these countries right next to Russia, for example. And I showed you guys on my Decembertainment that old-ass globe I have that has all these countries that don't exist. This is, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. History doesn't matter, though.
Yeah. It's weird because I'm just trying to find Ukraine in the EU and they're not, which is weird because they're a European nation.
No, they're not.
So I'm just wondering if they had a Brexit before it was cool. But,
Yo.
No, it turns out, for people who don't know what a map looks like, Ukraine is in between Europe and Russia.
So how's it part of Europe then?
Well, it's next to Europe. In the same way that Russia is next to Finland, so I guess Russia's in Europe also.
These people are really experts on European history. You know,
Turkey's next to Europe. Is Turkey in Russia and the EU?
Used to be Austria-Hungary.
What if you're just next to Europe? You're in Europe. Is this how this works? Africa is below Europe. Is that Europe now?
South Europe.
These people are ridiculous. Don't let people tell you Ukraine is European. It's not. It's never been European.
I had my sister look it up because she wants to. Because in order to hear about our family, she's got to like basically learn or translate Polish. And I was like, "What does Polish come from?" And she's like, "All right." And then she told me it's Gaelic Celtic, which predates Latin. Like, that is not European, you know?
I'm just
December 1773 exclusive. I told you guys a little while ago how I talked to a pilot that was suing the airline industry. Now, everybody just thought that I'm just driving around doing coffees and cars like comedians do and get paid millions of dollars for on the internet. But in actuality, I was breaking groundbreaking content for you guys behind the scenes of what really happens in the world, even though I just happen to be some dumbass guy. But headlines: United Airlines allows workers who decline COVID vaccine 19 to return back to work.
I saw this and I immediately sent it to you and I said, "Oh, your guy, he did it. Son of a bitch did it."
Freedom wins, people. Now, a couple things. I'm not going to go crazy into this. This is the hill they're willingly dying on because they openly performed communist acts. They took money from the government to do what they're told and were controlled. They federalized the businesses. Now, I know they're a union and they're government contracts. Whatever. Freedom won. Just for a second, because these bastards know what they're doing. This is the PR campaign to really hide the bad thing that they did. This is like the mob boss, you know, murdering somebody but blowing up an entire city block and only getting caught for the murder. So, or evading taxes like Al Capone did, but he murdered millions or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. But good for Pilot Guy. I know he had something to do with this. I don't know if he actually worked for United Airlines, but this is all connected. 6 degrees of separation, because I know he said he was the first one to stand up, and then he got thousands of emails. So what does that tell you? Talk history, politics, and religion with people, man, and it will work. It worked. It worked. Freedom worked. God, it's awesome. I love it. And we broke it here first behind the scenes, god damn it.
I'm surprised New York Times didn't shut this whole fucking thing down when we talked about it.
All right, I got one last thing before some Decemberness. I saw the article pop up across my phone. I tried finding it, but I couldn't. I seen a thing that they did a study on ivermectin. What's the freaking COVID?
Ivermectin.
Ivermectin, and they said in the headline, it does not stop or prevent, or it doesn't work against COVID-19, doused by some celebrities like Joe Rogan. Now, Not going to go into this. It's just important to note that Joe Rogan got it from a doctor.
We've talked about that, yeah.
And he said it on his program, and he said he talked to his doctor about it before he was even prescribed, and he also had another regimen after that, sleep and water and vitamin C drip and eating. He has it on his program. He has it. He said it himself, what he did when he got it. But the news is now trust the science, but it's political, right? What are we seeing now then? The downfall of not being able to have objective science because everything's now political. It's a tragedy.
Well, we talked about that last week. What was the article? Science and politics can no longer be separated.
Yeah.
It should only be separated. It should always be separated.
Yeah,
it can only be separated. Otherwise, there is no science.
All right, Dave. I got some Decembertainment.
You saw Batman?
No.
Damn it.
I got 3 things though for Decembertainment.
3 Decembertainment.
Yeah, I'll share a story, and then I got one I think you'll enjoy, and then I'll finish it out, I guess. So I was sick this past week.
You still sound a little under the weather.
Yeah, I'm congested like crazy. So I wasn't feeling right all day. I just thought it was daylight savings time, taking my testosterone, working out at the gym a lot. I've been eating a lot of food. I've been working extra time, stressed with everything else, the weather change, the season, like everything, right? All those lies you tell yourself. I'm not sleeping a lot, no water. I had 103 to 104 degree fever on my couch the other day.
Pretty rough.
Trying to go to bed. I'm freezing and sweating at the same time, shaking like crazy. I have crazy body aches. My head hurts, like a headache. No vomiting, no diarrhea, nothing like that. Wasn't nauseous. Didn't take any medicine. Took 2 COVID tests, both negative. Then I woke up the next day fine. But I did think about you because I was nervous about it could be in the Rona and I just like pass out and wake up on the floor, you know? I had the kid with me. I was like, I can't be like getting this sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, and then excuse me, to tell everybody the story afterwards, and they're like, "Oh, you just had the 24-hour bug that was going around." It's like, I think they're spraying shit in the air, but we'll go with a 24-hour bug. Fucking chemtrails are back. Fuck them planes, bro. Trust the science. I am. Look at the sky. All right, I'll stop being ridiculous.
You left fellow Sun Rumble.
Geoengineering, but chemtrails aren't real. Decembertainment, Bill stuff, dude. I don't get super dorky with sports all the time. Last year, as you know, we talked about it on the program when we got in the playoffs, closer to the playoffs and everything. I was really getting into it because it was just super exciting, right? Because we were end of season, Super Bowl, all that. Well, I seen this week all the Bills announcements, right? They signed that pass rusher. They re-signed Matt Milano, restructured his contract, freed up some cap space. They got rid of Cole Beasley, and I'm seeing they might replace him with McKenzie as like a slot receiver.
Yep.
And I'm happy with all that. Super excited. Trey White's back, you know, injury all year. Like,
be back-ish.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He might still miss a couple of weeks.
It was just still cool to like actually get pumped for football we're like 5 months away from football.
Oh, yeah, it's not close, yeah. But
Brandon Bean and everything, all the videos this week on the Bills social media pages get you pumped up for football. It was pretty cool, man. But yeah, it's just good to see stuff like that. And what made me so excited was they're talking about how awesome they think Josh Allen is. All these people always talk about Josh Allen. So I don't know, man. Buffalo love always, man. Buffalo love always, man. My real Decembertainment this week. Dave sent me a thing that some Italian college was banning Dostoevsky in their classrooms. Now, he's a Russian existentialist,
Yeah, you
right?
can't have all that Russian misinformation in your classroom.
Yeah, people were pulling Russian vodka and mustard. So Jordan Peterson, psychologist, we all know him and love him. He has YouTube videos on Dostoevsky. And because he became part of existentialism type of, not Jordan Peterson, but Dostoevsky. I'm going to stop saying his name because it's just ridiculous. But he was an existentialism kind of scientist with social psychology and stuff. And so I listened to Jordan Peterson's lectures on it because, you know what, honestly, back to the Donald Trump thing last week, those could be gone too. And then if they're banning this guy, think of Stephen King once again. If they're banning something, go consume it. So I'm going to go consume this shit about what this guy thought about. Like, it's natural, you know? So existentialism is basically that the objects hold more value than they really do because we give them. We give them that value. And it goes with everything, though. People included. See the danger? Do you see the danger in that one? Oh, it's just a box. It doesn't have feelings. You're just meat. You don't have feelings.
Just a clump of cells?
Just a clump of cells. Ha, 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 ha. This existentialist, Dostoevsky in particular, predicted the shit that went on in the 20th century. I wonder why they banned this asshole from the Italians, the people that had fascism. Ha, ha.
Only for most of their entirety.
Yeah. So this is existentialism. I'm not here to attack people's beliefs. I know I don't believe in that. It's like, yeah, we do add things, but that's like a creative imagination. It's not that this thing only has value because we add the value. That's what these people believe. It's like the thing only has value because we believe and say it has value. No, because once again, that's just a box. You're just a clump of cells. That's not a far walk. It acts like a far walk, but strewed it over 10 years when you can combat misinformation and set any political narrative you want. We can now see the dangers on how we can adjust this in years. We could probably actually brainwash people overnight. We probably do. So I hope you guys were brainwashed tonight with me and Dave, December 1773. I thank you guys for watching to the end. I appreciate that the most. 7 Eastern we drop. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, most importantly. Love freedom and free speech. Thank you, Dave, for your time as always. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Yeah. Catch you guys at the premiere. I'll be there live as always, commenting and having fun with you guys. Hope you enjoy and take care.
Definitely. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.